this isn't going to be, though, a video where I go into talking about, how, you need to talk more, and how, you need to spend more time together. It's not just like for that kind of obvious stuff, and cheating and all that stuff. It's like, we know that stuff. But there's something more important, and this can apply to any relationship. So it might be a relationship with your husband or your wife, or just your significant other, or it could be a relationship with friends, family members, co-workers, or your kids, if you have kids. So this kind of applies across the board. But what's more important is that a lot of times there's these hidden, quote unquote, hidden relationship killers. And these are the things I always talk about, the importance of awareness, right? Because awareness creates choice. Only when you are aware of something can you do something about it, right? If we're not aware of things, then we really have no power to change anything. And this is what happens in relationships, especially when we have relationships in our lives that aren't really working. We become distant, disconnected, disengaged, and a lot of times we don't even know why. We don't really know what's behind the scenes and causing it all. So I'm going to share with you 10 things here today, 10 super important things. And you might see some of these things and wonder, what the hell does that have anything to do with a relationship, right? Like, what would sleep have to do with a freaking relationship? You'd be surprised, right? With some of these, how powerful they are and how much they can affect relationships that you have. So if we look into it, and these don't go in any order, they're just 10 kind of things. But, if we look at things like thoughts and emotions, okay, right up there, this is one of the biggest things, because I'm sure that, if you're in a relationship, or even if you know somebody who is, or, it could be any relationship that you have, but how many times it's so easy to keep things bottled up inside of us, right? Sometimes we don't want to talk about things. We ignore, we deny, we repress, we disown our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own emotions. And, we try to kind of, almost play kind of, peekaboo, where, if I don't look at it, maybe it doesn't really exist type thing. And we think it'll go away. And, what happens is, like, over time, when you think it goes away, because, like, you could wake up the next day and, oh, okay, I'm starting this day fresh. We're starting over. Everything's cool. But that shit is still within you, right? If you don't deal with your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, they don't stay buried very long. They actually start to surface. They come out in other ways that could be very destructive and dysfunctional, and in ways that can destroy a relationship. I mean, for example, you can have, somebody gets pissed off at somebody else. The wife gets mad at her husband, gets pissed off at a wife, and they never really deal with the issue of why they're upset. They kind of keep it bottled up. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to deal with it. And so, time goes by, everything's cool, and then months down the road, it's like the craziest little thing. Somebody's doing dishes, or somebody doesn't fucking take out the garbage, and boom, the other person just blows up, right? You've been like this for 3 months now, and doing all this shit all the time, and this, what, I can't stand this, that, and that about you, and this happened months ago, and you're like, whoa, like, where did that come from? So, and it just kind of blows up, right? And that's kind of the things that happen when we don't face our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. We don't get them out. We don't face them. We don't deal with them. We don't talk about them. We don't own them. And so they end up sabotaging our relationships over time. So, things get worse, never better. The other thing we look at, expectations. There are so many times in relationships, and I've been through it, where we expect certain things, right? We expect certain things out of the relationship. We expect certain things from our partner. We expect certain things from our kids or friends or family members, right? But the one thing that happens is, like, when we expect things and those expectations are not met, then we start to carry resentment. We might get angry. We become frustrated. We have all these kind of negative feelings that happen, and then it kind of gets into here. It leads into thoughts and emotions. We deny things, and everything starts going chaotic, right? But with expectations, it's kind of crazy, because rather than having expectations, really, I think that the key is to